everybody, so welcome back to the first video, not only of the year, but of the decade. I hope you're all really well. I hope you had an amazing Christmas and New Year, and December in general. So I'm back today with my usual kind of end of year, beginning of year roundup video. And I'm going to be talking about all my favorite beauty products. This is a video I have been doing, I think, for the last 6 or 7 years. I'll leave a playlist of them linked down below if you want to go and see some interesting haircuts and fashion choices, for sure. I did a quick scroll through a few of them just to kind of see what I was using and talking about in those, and yes, I have grown up a lot on YouTube, that is for sure. I started out as a very scared, shy little person who was very unsure of herself, and I feel like I now am, an adult, and you guys have literally got to grow up with me. So here we are for best of 2019, my big beauty roundup. We're going to talk makeup, skincare, and a few other extra bits as well. These videos do get quite long and quite rambly, so I am going to do my best to kind of just whiz through everything. I have my list here, I have all my products to the side of me. Let's see if we can do this under 20 minutes. That would be ideal. So I'm going to start off with makeup, and we're going to talk about best primer. Now, primer is something I really don't think about all that often. If I reach for a primer, it's usually because I'm feeling like my skin just doesn't look good, more so than helping my makeup stay on. But I think I actually found one this year that sort of does a bit of both. This is from Elemis. It's the Pro-Collagen Insta-Smooth primer. And not only does this kind of add a lot of hydration to your skin, it really plumps it up and just sort of boosts it a bit. It does also have that kind of slight silicone feeling texture that not mattifies the skin, but just smooths everything out, on which your makeup is gonna go on a lot better. I have found myself reaching for this maybe a little bit subconsciously when I know I want my makeup to last longer, and I think it does the job. So as far as primers go, this probably is the only one that I've used this year, but I have really liked it, so that is the best primer. So best foundation, you guys know I don't really dabble that much in actual full coverage foundations, but there is one that I like to kind of keep in my makeup bag because I know when I need it, if I need it, it's going to do the job and it's going to do it right. So this is the Clarins Skin Illusion Foundation. I think this might have been my favorite foundation in the last video as well. There is something very magical about this foundation that I can't quite pick out exactly why, but I know that this just smooths over my skin. When I use this with a brush, and I think that is the way to go, like a buffing brush, it just transforms my kind of patchy, irregular texture, maybe slightly blemished skin into this smooth, amazing canvas. It's incredible, and yet it has no weight to it. It's so kind of light, lets your skin breathe, super hydrating as well. It is actually a hydrating foundation with SPF 15, but it doesn't have like a very moisturizing feel to it in terms of like a stickiness once you've applied it. The coverage is great. You can really build it up or you can sheer it out. I just can't speak highly enough of this foundation. It is amazing. So when I want something that is going to just really make my skin look good, that is what I have been reaching for all year. So best tinted moisturizer or lightweight foundation, and I feel like this is really my home. This is the place that I feel safe because this is the type of product I wear every single day. And for me, it has to have been this Ginzing Hydrating Prettifying finisher from Origins. I think I discovered this around 6 or 7 months ago, and it's been what I've reached for ever since then. It's almost empty actually. And this, I guess this could actually fall under the category of primer, but for me, this is the perfect amount of coverage for an everyday look. It basically has no coverage at all, but it's just one of those products that really boosts your skin. It gives a tiny bit of color, a bit of warmth. It makes it look very fresh and hydrated, and it does just smooth away some kind of redness and uneven tone. I think it's amazing. It's a wonder product, and I love the way this makes my skin feel. I have it on right now, feels very hydrated but not sticky. It feels comfortable, which is really important for me for an everyday base. And most importantly, I feel like a light layer of this just underneath everything else makes products go on so well. So my concealer goes on better, my cream products go on better, my powders. I think this is just like an amazing first step to a makeup routine. So best concealer, I do have two. I'm gonna try very hard not to do this for too many categories, but I really couldn't choose between them because I feel like for the first 6 months of the year it was this one, and for the last 6 months it was this. So we have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer. Now, Flower Beauty, which is a brand from Drew Barrymore, is something that I discovered this year, and a brand that I really enjoyed using. Quite a few of their products are ones that I keep in rotation even now. So this is their, I think this is the only concealer they do, and it's just your very standard like doe foot applicator type concealing product. It's really good coverage. So this one to me is my good coverage, full coverage concealer. So when I just need some help and nothing else is working, I reach for this. And I really like the color of this one. It suits me really well. Sometimes concealers can be very orange toned on my skin, which is a shame. But this one, which is in the shade Light, doesn't do that. It's so great for under eyes as well. It's a really amazing kind of like light boosting, dark circle ridding concealer. So then my makeup now, basically I just use this concealer, and I think it's something to do with the weather. My skin's so dry, and I really want something that is quite hydrating, really is going to stick around and keep moisturizing all day long. So the Glossier Stretch Concealer, which I have in the shade Light, but I'm not sure if they do that color anymore. Since I bought this, they've really branched out and just covered all bases when it comes to shades, which is so good. And this, I don't like using this with my fingers. I think it's terrible. I don't like using this with a brush. I think it just does not work. For me, if I take a beauty sponge or a beauty blender, dip it in there when it's dry, no moisture, no wetting under the tap, and then just apply it straight to my skin, that is heaven. That is how it works best for me, and how I get the best out of it. I love it for under eyes because it just covers so well, but never looks like there's product there at all. It works around my skin as well for evening out texture and redness, covers up blemishes. It's just pretty amazing once you work out how to use it correctly. So I have to talk about that one too. Next up, we have Best Powder. This again has not changed since last year's video. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder. The only thing that's changed is that I've changed shades in this. I've got number 1 instead of number 2, which is my normal one, because my skin has been pale this year. I have not seen much sun. I use this every day, and this is coming from a girl who for years and years just avoided powder like the plague. I didn't want to touch it, I didn't want to use it, I didn't want to know. And then I found this and it changed my life. It's seriously so finely milled. You don't know it's there, but it just goes that little bit further to stop my makeup coming off my skin in areas that maybe I touch a lot or that get worn away more than others, like my chin and my cheeks, and also under my eyes. I was someone who always had big black smudges under my eyes because something about my concealer and my mascara just didn't gel together, and it always used to kind of just flake down my face. And since using this, it just doesn't happen anymore unless, you know, I'm wearing makeup for about 24 hours. Just the best powder. So after powder, we have Best Bronzer. Again, this hasn't changed, and actually, this may be a little bit gross to admit, I don't think I've got a new one since last year. This has just gone on and on. There's not a lot of it left, so maybe 2020 is the year that I repurchase this. But it's the Clinique Chubby Stick Sculpting Contour. I love cream bronzers. I think I'll always be a cream bronzer fan over a powder, and this for me is just amazing. It has a lot of pigment to it, but it shears out so easily. It has a very kind of transparent formula for a cream, so it's not too opaque, and it just gives like a tint across your skin. Super buildable, really easy to do a very sheer light look with this as well, which is really natural, so that will always be my favorite. And then Best Cream Blush. I have 2 categories here. I have cream blush and powder blush because I do use the both of them, but Best Cream is the Bobbi Brown Pot Rouge in powder pink. Really natural, gorgeous pinky colour. This is a very glossy formula for a cream blush, which I didn't think I'd love, but it actually gives the cheeks a really pretty kind of glowy finish. Again, it's very sheer, very buildable, very blendable, and I just always find myself reaching for these two. This is my power cheek combo. I love the both of them together. So then the Best Powder Blush. This is kind of a sad one, and I talk about this probably more than I should. I think it was even in the last video, because it's discontinued. You can't buy it anymore. It makes me very sad, but it's from Clarins. Clarins do, or used to do, the best powder cheek products. I love their bronzers, I love their blush, and they just don't make them anymore, which is very sad. So this is called the Illuminating Cheek Color in Rosewood. I'm so glad that I bought this relatively recently because, you know, there's a lot there and it's not going to run out anytime soon. I'm going to have to keep spraying it down with anti-bac to keep it sanitary. It's very similar to the Bobbi Brown one. It's a very neutral nude kind of pink, and it just gives a really natural flush, and the whole formula, everything about it, it's just perfection. So sad they don't make those anymore. Best highlighter is our second shout out to Glossier, a brand which, you know, I'm probably going to be just absolutely drooling all over in this video. I've really become a Glossier girl for sure. This is actually from the Glossier Play range, which I'm not a massive fan of. It's the only product that I use from it, other than the glitters, which are great, but I mean, how often in the year do you use the glitter? This one product though probably is one of the best they make across the entire brand. It is amazing. It's the Niteshine Highlighter Concentrate, and I have the shade Platinum Rose. I've tried a few of the colours, but for me this just works best with my skin tone, and I love the finish that it gives. So it's kind of like a rosy, slightly golden toned highlight, and the best thing about this is that you unscrew the top here and it has a doe flat applicator. I had never applied a highlighter, a cream highlighter like this, or seen one like this until I got this product, and it just changed my life. I can't use cream highlighter just pumped out or squeezed out anymore. I have to have some kind of applicator with it. I think it's life-changing. So that massively influences my love for this product, but also it's just such a glowy, intense, beautiful, glossy highlight. So it has to win for me, it has to. Best brow product is, I think, probably the same as last year. Nothing really changes with my brows as far as they go, maybe color-wise, but for product, I always stick to this. It benefits Precisely my brow pencil. I really like these pencils that come with a very small, precise nib and then a brush on the end. There's quite a few of them. I used to love the Anastasia one, but it always broke. I don't know if they fixed their packaging because it's been a while since I actually tried one, but they just were not worth the money. Whereas the Benefit one is kind of reasonable. It's like a mid high-end price, and you know what, it works just as well. The color's great, the payoff, the pigmentation does what it needs to do. So that is just always what I have on my brows. If you're ever wondering, this is what I am wearing. Now I have a category for best eyeshadow, but honestly I cannot remember a day where I have worn eyeshadow, just a single eyeshadow. So I've kind of skipped over that because I just haven't been doing it. So it's not worth mentioning. But I do have best eyeshadow palette in here, and this palette is literally the only eyeshadow I reach for. It's quite sad because I have so many gorgeous unused eyeshadow palettes sitting in my drawer. You are gonna laugh at this as well because it is ridiculous, but this is my most used favorite eyeshadow palette of the year. It's the NARS Mini Wanted palette, and it is just tiny. It is so small and so cute. I use pretty much two of these on a day-to-day basis, the dark one and the light. They are both mattes as well. I'll sometimes dabble in the colors and the glitters if I'm feeling fancy, but for every day I just use those two. I should probably see if I could get them in a duo, but this is so small, so easy to carry around, and it has, you know, a few more options. So this I thought would originally just be limited edition, but it's not. You can still buy this. I think that's amazing for people that aren't really super into their eyeshadow but just want a bit of something on there, which is definitely the route I have gone down. I don't think you can beat this. So well done NARS for bringing out such a cute, convenient, easy to travel with palette. So we are going back to Glossier for best liquid liner. This is probably one of the newer products I've discovered most recently that I'm talking about in this video, and up until I got this maybe a few months ago, I wasn't wearing liquid liner. I hadn't worn it for maybe even a year, and it wasn't something that I did even think about, but they sent me their Pro Tip liquid liner, which looks like this. It's got a little felt tip on the end. I think this is amazing. It's a really interesting brush because it's not actually like a foamy felt tip. It's made up of lots of tiny little brush hairs. Something about that just really transfers the product well onto it. It makes it so pigmented, and the actual formula of this is super black, and it lasts forever. It's actually quite difficult to take this off unless you have like an oil-based eye makeup remover. So I've actually been doing liquid liner a bit more since I discovered this, and really enjoying it. And somebody who back in the day wore liquid liner every single day without fail and has tried all of them, I can tell you this one is amazing. It's probably one of the best I've ever ever come across. Best mascara, I have the By Terry Lash Expert Twist Brush here. This is the one that starts off straight like this, and if you twist it, the brush changes. I always keep it in that first straight position because I think it works wonders like that. I can't use it when it's twisted, it just doesn't work for my eyelashes. But when it's really long with those really nice spiky plastic bristles, it just combs through lashes amazingly. It does a really good job of separating every individual little lash, but also coating them with a lot of products. So it gives a lot of volume, a lot of length, a lot of definition, but without looking clumpy. This mascara is probably the best I have ever used. There's just something about it that works so well. So that had to get a mention for best mascara. In the categories of lip products, I have 3 things. Let's start with best liner because this I would use for both of these. It is the Max Factor Color Elixir Lip Liner in brown and nude. I think I bought this in January of last year, so it's been a whole year that I've been using this, and it's the only lip liner I've really reached for. It's a very simple, your lips but better, and a little bit more brown type of color. Max Factor is such a classic brand. I feel like you can trust anything from them, and it's such a good lip liner. It really, really is. I don't find much disparity between different lip liners. They tend to all be very similar, but this one, it's not too chalky. It's also not too like transferring. Sometimes they can be like that. It's just a good lip liner. So that is the best. And then I think I separated these into best lipstick and best liquid lip. You will know without a doubt that my favorite lipstick of the year is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in London. Can't get enough of this baby. It's just the only thing I ever wear on my lips. The point, you know, I'm bored of it. I'm bored of wearing this, and yet I can't stop because it's so good. Love it. And then I do have best lipstick, best sheer lipstick. This is the only other thing I reach for. Sometimes when I don't want to look quite as done up as the liquid lip looks, because it's quite matte and quite pigmented, it can look like a bit more of a done lip. So if I want something that is super natural, I'll go for this Glossier Generation G, which is in Cake. This is really interesting because it's a really sheer lipstick formula, which normally I hate, but it has a matte finish, so it just looks like your lips but with a tint. This one is what I do when I have maybe no makeup on or just a really, really minimal makeup, and I just want my lips to look a bit more alive in there because they can be quite pale and paled out if I'm not wearing anything on them. I do have one new category this year, and it is called Best Beauty Extra, because I wanted to talk about this and I had no idea where to fit it into this video. So Best Beauty Extra for me this year has been Freck. I talk about this a lot. I've used this in pretty much most of the makeup videos I've done recently, and it is basically like a faux freckle product. Comes with this teeny tiny little brush, and you dab it on and then sort of like pat it out until it goes very natural and very sheer, and it's just amazing. I was drawing on little faux freckles with eyebrow pencil and eyeliners, things like that, and then this came along, an actual proper product with which to do that, and it's game changing. It's so good, looks so natural. I love this. I feel really undone or like undressed if I'm not wearing this. I'm very used to having freckles. I very much wish I had real ones, but that is not the case. So this is what keeps me going. Best makeup brush. I do usually talk about this as a category despite pretty much using 1 or 2 brushes. I'm not a makeup brush girl, but this one I actually realized this year I do get a lot of use out of, and I couldn't really do my makeup without it. So this is from Zoeva. It's the Luxe Powder Fusion Brush 134, and it's kind of just like a really tiny powder brush, but also a really big eyeshadow brush. This has so many uses. I basically use it for powdering under my eyes because that's the most important place to powder for me. But I'll do the rest of my face with it too. So like T-zone, nose, chin, and it just gives like a really precise powder. I also think this is an incredible highlighter brush. It's really fluffy, it's not too dense, and it's just the right size to get on your cheeks. And also I sometimes use this for eyeshadow. If I'm using like a bronzer, a powder bronzer as an eyeshadow, and I just want something really quick, I'll do it like that. And also contouring. Sometimes I do it down my nose a little bit if I'm having a bad nose day. Very underrated. I think Zoeva brushes in general are great. They're really affordable, but amazing quality. I mean, I've had this for a really long time and used it a lot. It's never shed, it washes well. I think I have like a limited edition one. That's why it's brown, but normally it comes in black. So yeah, that is definitely a real favorite of mine. And then best makeup tool, of course, I had to mention these eyelash curlers. I use these every single day, even if I have not a scrap of makeup on, but I've kind of walked past a mirror and glanced at myself and thought, wow, you look tired. I'll just quickly go and curl my lashes, brush up my brows, put some lip balm on, and that's like my absolute basic minimal beauty routine, but still makes a really huge difference. So one of my absolute number one beauty tips is to invest in a pair of good eyelash curlers. They will change your life. So we've talked about makeup. That is all my makeup favorites. Now let's move on to skincare. This is my favorite part of the video. So I'm going to start with best makeup remover, and I actually have not a product written down here, but a beauty tool. And I think in general, no matter what makeup remover I'm using, whether it's a micellar water, like a creamy cleanser, anything that kind of needs to be rubbed onto the face, these have just changed the way I do skincare. So I have them in their little bag. This is actually what you wash them in, which is very handy. It comes with that. But they are my reusable cotton pads. So I tried to really think about places in which I was creating a lot of waste in my skincare routine last year. And obviously cotton pads are the thing I think we go through the most. In the morning, I would use one for toner, maybe to take off like a little bit of eye makeup that hadn't quite been cleansed away, so that's 2. And then in the evening I could go through 2 or 3, just taking makeup off, and then again toners and products like that. So really they were building up to be quite wasteful. I looked at alternatives and I found these on Amazon, and they have been life-changing. So I think I have a pack of 12 and I've probably been using them most of the year. I've washed them repeatedly over and over again, and they are still so soft. And they work so well. They look like this. They're just made up of bamboo. I think it is bamboo cotton. I use these in exactly the same way as I use any other cotton pads. I'll tip on my product, my micellar waters, my toners, cleansers, things like that. One thing maybe that they do slightly more than a cotton pad, although I think this might just be like a mental thing and not actually what's happening, but I feel like sometimes they can absorb more product. I don't know if that is the case or not, or if it's just the texture acting differently. I still think you only need the same like 1 or 2 squirts of micellar water to do your whole face. But if that is a problem for you that you're noticing, I think the easiest thing to do is just to damp them and wring them out, and then to put your product onto them. So I had to mention those because they have been a massive beauty game changer for me in 2019. So let's talk actual products. First off, we have Best Cleanser, which for me this year, I think has to be this Pi Lightwork Rosehip Cleansing Oil. This is my 3rd bottle of it, which I think says a lot. And this may come as a shock to OG viewers, because I don't think there's been one of these videos in the last 6 or 7 years where I haven't mentioned the Oskia cleanser. I ran out of it about 6 months ago and I haven't used it since. I've just been using this, and it was good enough for me to repurchase this. So maybe I'm just forgetting how amazing it is. Maybe I just needed a change, but I'm going to talk about this because you must be sick of hearing the words Oskia over and over again. This is such a great cleansing oil that kind of bridges the gap in between a cleansing oil that just removes your makeup and is only good for that, and one that also really nourishes your skin and has a lot of benefits as well. So I usually do this twice. I'll do this to remove my makeup, and then I'll use it to cleanse my skin. I also use it in the morning. Basically has become my only cleanser, and it's amazing. It's just really, really hydrating. Smells like heaven as well. It's beautiful. So Best Toner is maybe not one I'd necessarily categorize as a toner, but it's what I use it for and it's when I use it, but it definitely is more of an exfoliating toner. So this is from Glossier. It's the Glossier Solution Exfoliating Skin Perfector. This is another one of my favorite Glossier products. I think it is my favorite skincare product they do. It's a mixture of AHA, BHAs and PHAs. It's so gentle and really, really light, and I think they actually kind of target this more towards acne prone skin, for helping kind of reduce blemishes and help with pores. I think there's salicylic in this, as well as lactic, which is one of my favorite acids to use. It's so so gentle, and I always find my skin gets on really well with it. But I think acids are so subjective, and it really just depends on your skin type. I've been using this for a good couple of years now, and I really attribute a change in my skin, like an actual big change in the texture and just the clearness and it looking better, to this. I don't know if it's just doing consistent exfoliation or if it is this product, but I think this had a massive hand in it, and my nose has never looked better. It really just helps with big kind of pores around that area, T-zone, stopping too much oil coming through. It's an amazing product, and I think it shouldn't just be looked at as like a blemish solution. I think any skin type can use it. I do also have best manual exfoliator in a category this year. That is not it. I've been using a manual exfoliator a little bit more than I usually would, just because I feel like my skin really has gotten quite dry this year, and it happens every year. I'm getting old. It's losing its vitality, its luster. It's gonna happen. So I think especially maybe it's a water change from moving house. Maybe it's just me, but I have a lot more flakiness and dryness on my skin now. So I like to use this maybe like once a month, once every couple of weeks. And this is actually from PCA Skin, which is a pharmaceutical brand. I was recommended this when I had a facial at my favorite place to go for a facial, which is the Skinwork at the Alex Eagle studio. I would put that as a best of 2019 favorite. Best facial for sure. I love it. I'm going back tomorrow. I can't wait. This is an enzyme-based exfoliator. So not only can you use it to like scrub away your skin with the beads, it also can be left on to kind of just eat away at the skin cells too in a more acidic way. It's the only manual exfoliator I've used this year, so I had to mention that. So then let's talk about best serum. Again, this is a good old Covet favorite. I maybe need a new one of these because it's empty. I was actually thinking as I was putting this video together, what is my most repurchased product of all time? And other than the Oskia cleanser and maybe another one that I'll talk about in a minute, this is definitely high up there. And for something that is quite a high price point, this Estee Lauder serum, it's the Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair Recovery Complex. I think that says a lot because I don't think I've ever been sent one of these. I've been buying this since I worked at Boots and found it on the counter there when I was just wandering around when I was 18. So that's nearly 10 years that I've been using this, and it is still my favorite serum. I use this at night. It's a hyaluronic acid-based serum, which is just perfect, my favorite skincare ingredient. And no matter what is wrong with your skin, whether it's a blemish, dryness, redness, irritation, anything, it just works. It just seems to fix it. It's a wonder product. And I feel like my skincare routine isn't complete without this in the evenings. So it's the best. Best facial oil. I've been going back a lot to Sunday Riley this year, or last year, and the Lunar Sleepy Night Oil was a big part of my routine. So this is actually a retinol based oil, so it's not something I use every single night on my skin, but I got into a really good routine of using it every other night or every third night, and just being very consistent from it, and it's made such a difference. It's really helped with the dryness on my skin, and also I'm thinking so much more about anti-aging now because my skin does not look like it used to, so I really want to start thinking about products like retinols and vitamin A and things like that that are going to help it stay young. Not that there's anything wrong with aging. Aging is a privilege, but it's always nice to have just a little bit of extra help. So next is best moisturizer. This is the La Roche-Posay Toleriane Ultra Fluid. La Roche-Posay maybe hasn't been talked about quite as much as it should have in this video, but it's one of my favorite skincare brands. I'm using some of it at the moment just because I feel a bit reactive and a bit gross from the festive period, and I always like to go back to a very basic skincare routine when my skin's feeling like that. But this is the standout, and it is just such a good moisturizer. It's the fluid. They do have a cream, but I always prefer the fluid. Even though it's lighter, it still is super hydrating. And it's just the perfect, like, very basic, no frills moisturizer, which, you know, you definitely can expect from a brand like this, which is a French pharmacy brand. Eye cream, we have another Glossier favorite. This is the only eye cream that I've really used recently. It's called Bubble Wrap. Comes in this really interesting tin kind of pump product. And it's an eye and lip pumping cream. You can use this on your lips. I just always forget that, so I don't use it. But it's a really nice basic eye cream. Again, there's not really many frills to this. It doesn't have too many prescriptive ingredients. Maybe I should be thinking about an anti-wrinkle eye cream, but it is very hydrating, and I do notice that this helps my makeup stay on underneath. It doesn't make my mascara or my concealer crease. It sinks in really well, but it keeps that whole eye area really moisturized. Best SPF, I think I'm gonna go with the Kiehl's SPF. I've tried quite a few different ones this year and I haven't really been loyal to any brand, but this was a new launch from Kiehl's. It's their Ultra Light Daily UV Defense, which is one of my all-time favorites, but it's in a gel. So in summer, this was amazing. It still has SPF 50, but it just feels so much lighter, and it was really, really nice to use when we had some super hot weather. Best face mask. Best face mask is gonna be this Sarah Chapman Skin Assist 3D Moisture Infusion. I had quite a few options for this category, quite a few that I wanted to talk about because I do use masks a lot, and I think they are a really important part of your skincare routine and something that I've been trying to think about more. But this for me is just like the cream of the crop. It's a very pricey mask in terms of like cost per use, because you only get a few in a packet because it is a sheet mask. But oh my god, does this make my skin feel incredible. It's a hyaluronic acid based mask, and Sarah Chapman does hyaluronic products so well. It's just incredibly hydrating, and I actually really like the texture of the sheet mask because it's almost like a kind of rubbery feel. It's not one of those paper type masks. It has a very like sticky feel to it, which really helps it stay on. It doesn't slip off your face. So in terms of sheet mask, this is definitely my favorite, but it's a really amazing hydrating mask overall. Best lip balm is, you guessed it, Glossier. The Glossier Balm.com lip balms are probably the only ones I use now. I have one in probably every single room of my house, every handbag, every coat pocket. They just seem to reproduce and they're everywhere. This is the mango one, which they came out with, I want to say in summer of last year, maybe a bit sooner, and it's amazing. It's my favorite one by far. I love the smell of it. The color is gorgeous as well. It has a very sheer pink tint. And it's just, I put this on every single day without fail. Really moisturizing too. I think they're a great kind of stepping stone between something that is easy to wear underneath lipsticks and isn't too heavy, but also I can put this on overnight and still feel it when I wake up in the morning. So just an all-round amazing lip balm in general, but the mango one is heaven. And then my last category in skincare is best skincare tool. I had a few things to choose from, but I decided to go for this, which I've talked about quite a lot actually, and it is a gua sha tool. This is a rose quartz one. They have so many different shapes and colors, stones. These are so much better than the rollers that you get. I feel like you just can really get in there and apply a lot more pressure with the gua sha. It really just helps to like sculpt out a cheekbone or a jaw. Forehead is really nice. When I have a headache or a migraine, I kind of press this across my eyebrows and it feels amazing. With consistent use, I really think these make such a difference. They depuff and they lift and they tone. I probably could use it more than I do now. I tend to reach for it in more extreme needs when I just feel like my skin looks awful. But if I use this every single day, I know it would be such a difference. It's also just a very beautiful thing. I love having this out on my shelf because it's so pretty. So I want to do a quick roundup of some extra bits. We've got some hair, some body, some beauty things here. Best shampoo and conditioner. I only have one thing written down for this because I am not faithful to any shampoo. I don't repurchase things. I tend to use what's in my cupboard, but there has been one brand in particular this year that I have probably used the most. And I think I talked about this in last year's video, but it's the Christoph Robin Antioxidant Cleansing Milk. I was kind of doing a bit of a no poo thing for the first half of the year, so not using shampoos, just doing like a cleanse, which I did give up on a little bit when I started going to the gym more because I felt like I just wanted to really clean my scalp. It's definitely all in your head. Joe does not use shampoo. He washes his hair with water and that boy has the best hair ever. This I actually think bridges the gap really nicely. It's a cleansing milk, so not quite a shampoo, shampoo, not quite a conditioner. You can just use this on your hair, and for me it's really nice. It still really moisturizes it. It doesn't leave it too frizzy, which is my fear when I don't use conditioner, but cleanses without removing like all the oils and the good stuff on your scalp. So that gets an honorable mention for hair care. Best styling product, we have gone back completely old school with this. I was using this every single day without realizing until I actually needed to pick up a new can and thought, wow, this is the only styling product I use now. So of course, you know what this is. It's Elnet. It's actually the Elnet Unscented, which is a massive, massive must for me, because as amazing as this product is, the smell of it, it's not a bad smell, but it's a very powdery, very vintage smelling product, and for me it's just too much sometimes. So I think that kind of applies to a lot of hair products. Sometimes I just don't want them to smell of anything because it's too much. But this is the unfragranced one, so you get all the benefits of the hairspray without the smell. And we all know this is an amazing hairspray. It's such a fine mist. It kind of just sets everything in place, especially if I've curled my hair or done something fancy. But I don't really use anything else but this now. One thing that is very important to me though is dry shampoo. This I use a lot in 2019, and I kind of went through a couple. I went through some phases, but I always come back to this. It's from IGK, and it's the First Class Charcoal Detox Dry Shampoo. This stuff is heavy duty. You do run the risk of getting some like white patches. I do actually have it in today, but I don't think you can see them. So definitely just rub it until they're all gone and brush it out. But this will transform your hair. It will feel like you have fresh, clean hair, even when it's just incredibly greasy and probably could do with a wash. My next category is best hair tool, for which we have this beast. Yes, this is a hair tool. Get your minds out of the gutter. So this is just one of the attachments. I didn't want to drag them all through to this room, but this is the Dyson Air Wrap, which I feel like everybody wanted to try this year. I saw so many videos on Instagram and just people trying it and having incredible results. And I went ahead and bought into the hype and purchased myself one of these. And it is life-changing. I don't use this as much as I should, because the one thing I'll say about it, and this is coming from a lazy hair girl who just does nothing but wash and air dry, it does take a little bit of time. Probably no more time than curling your hair does, or doing something like that to it, but it lasts forever. Basically, this uses air to curl your hair, so you get really proper ringlets with it. That just stay put forever. There's a few more attachments you can do, just like a blow dry with it. It has a smoothing, straightening brush too, all amazing. I do have a video of me using this to curl my hair, which I'll link up here if you're interested in seeing how it works. But it's just amazing. I mean, it's expensive, it's maybe a little bit time consuming, and it is absolutely massive, so it takes up so much space. But it's, I think, worth all of those things. It gives such a good hair day. I have never had better hair than when I use this. The best body wash, I usually talk about this particular product because it just does not change. I think actually, going back to the subject of most repurchase items, it has to be this. I think I maybe go through one of these a month or every 2 months. So I have been using this for 2 or 3 years. You can do the maths on that. I hate myself a little bit for it because I'm using up so much plastic. Although I am recycling it, it just hurts me a little bit inside. I wish Glossier would come out with like a refill pouch that maybe would be better, or some kind of huge bottle of this stuff. But I just can't use anything else. It's the Body Hero. It's an oil wash. It's so incredibly hydrating, but it doesn't feel like an oil. It emulsifies when the water touches it, so it just disappears, but leaves your skin really moisturized. And I have kind of sensitive skin actually on my body. I get red quite easily in different places, but it's never irritated me. It never stings. It's just the best thing. It's such an essential part of my daily routine. So best body lotion is a new mention actually. I haven't talked about this before. And it's from Another Stories. It's their, I think it's just their regular body lotion. They have so many of these in their various different scents. This one is Sardonyx Fire. And it's just the smell of this. It's a great lotion. It's moisturizing, it's light, it's not sticky, you can put clothes on straight away. But the smell of this, I can't even describe it. It's a little bit floral, but deep and musky, but not heavy at the same time. You need to go and smell this if you have a store near you. It actually says on here it's dark amber, vanilla and hints of bloom. That sums it up better than I did. I put this on and I can smell it on my clothes the next day when I go to wash everything. I just, everything smells so good because of this. It's like wearing a perfume, but a perfume that lasts a really long time. I haven't tried any of their other body lotions, so I can't say if it works with all of them because this is quite a strong scent. But for me, I just love wearing this because it smells so good. Okay, so here we are at the final category of this video, which always is the same every year and is always best fragrance. This is usually quite a difficult one to pick because, I mean, there are 365 days in the year where I could be picking up anything. Fragrance is so subjective to my mood and how I'm feeling, the time of the month. There are lots of different factors that play into my choosing one. But I was trying to think, and I was smelling a couple, what really sums up my year and what I have worn at various different times. So the winner and the number one fragrance of the year is from Dolce & Gabbana. It's the One, but it is the One Essence. So it's a slightly deeper, richer version of their original one. I love this perfume so much. It just makes me feel happy and cozy. The actual notes are very vanilla-y, it's very ambery, very sweet, but because it's the essence, I feel like it just has a bit more of a darkness to it and a bit more depth. It's not as light and airy as the original one. This is another fragrance that really sticks around. I smell it on my clothes all the time, on my scarf. And for such a lingering and long-lasting perfume, it is not heavy at all. Despite the notes and all of that, it really is so light and quite fresh, despite being just a really like woody, gorgeous smell. There you go. I've summed it up terribly, but it has to be my favorite of the year. So I'm gonna put a bit more on now. So thank you guys for sitting through that. I will leave everything linked down below if you didn't quite catch what I was saying, or if you want to refer back to all of my favorites of the year. Like I said at the beginning, I really do enjoy filming these because I feel like they're just a little time capsule of my year and where I am and what's going on and what I've been loving. So thank you again so much for tuning into this. I feel like this is one of those videos that all of you watch, or maybe it's just my kind of OG beauty subscribers from back in the day when that's more what this channel was about. But once again, I want to say a massive happy new year to you guys. I'm really excited for 2020 actually. I feel like last year was a year of settling and trying to find my place here in a new city and just figuring things out. But now I do feel a lot more comfortable, not only where I am, but also in my own skin. And I really hope that comes across to you guys. So I'm gonna leave you all here. Thank you for watching. I think I'm gonna keep to a normal schedule of a Monday, Friday video this month, but I will let you guys know if there's any changes on that. So yes, that is it for me today, and I will see you all soon. Bye.